Okay, we are once again at my favorite place, the Giant Magnet, Miami Iron and Steel. And this is today's load. But we're going to show you what happens to the steel once the steel is put into the yard by the machines. Going to show you what happens to it and where it goes and what it ends up as far as scrap metal. And I have permission from the owner, Mark, to make this video. For you too. As you can see, there's a lot of stuff going on here. It would be easy to get hurt, and hurt quick. So I'm going to stay out of the way, but I want to show you what happens to this metal while it's being processed. Now basically, it goes into this big machine here, and it comes out as shrapnel. And I'm not real sure what the biggest piece is, but it cuts it up into tiny little pieces. That thing will cut anything including 12-inch I-beams. It is basically a shear that weighs about 15 tons plus the hydraulic weight of the shear of the piston itself, and it just cuts it up into tiny little pieces like this. Then it's loaded onto these railroad cars that take 188,000 pounds, or roughly 110,000 pounds of steel. It's loaded into these cars, and then it's brought a few blocks away to the ships that come into the Miami River. And you can see it doesn't matter what it is, it turns it into 1 or 2 foot long pieces. That's the piston actuating up and down. Now there are other parts of this machine which is called the feeder, and it feeds it into this, which semi-crushes it down into a rectangular shaped box when it crushes the material by loading it and then compressing it into a certain shape. And the feeder also has hundreds of thousands of pounds of pressure. So that's what happens to these metals once they are processed. And I don't know what the biggest or thickest piece is, but I would say anything up to 2 inches wouldn't be a problem for that machine. This is the Magneto Man. This is where the man sits all day to operate the magnet. And then you have the grappling hooks that grab it from different directions. And this is a close-up of the magnet itself. And what happens is a current goes through here and wraps around a field coil that has insulators in the coil itself, and that creates a magnetic current which picks up just about anything. I'm not real sure of the lifting capacity of this item, but I would say it's upwards of 10 tons, or at least as powerful as the boom on this machine, which would have to be close to 6,000 or 7,000, 8,000 to 10,000 pounds. And that's what happens to the steel once it is processed. These guys that operate the machines are pretty damn good. I haven't seen better operators. And here we go with my little mess over here. That's a microwave. That's considered one type of metal. They mix in the big stuff with the small stuff, but they take out the sheet metal and separate the sheet metal from the heavy metal. They do that for a specific reason. I'm not sure what the reason is. They made a big broom out of that. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're going back. We're going back to my truck. And I'm going to unload it and back it up. This is my load right here. Every piece I know where it came from, when I used it, how I used it, and how it fit on my property. Every piece. It's a crying shame what they've done to the world, folks. You're looking at least $8,000 or $10,000 worth of materials in here that are absolutely useless to anyone that isn't a mechanically inclined individual. So what we're going to do is we're going to strap this to my head. I'm going to take off the binding that holds it, and then I'm going to bring it to the Magneto Man, and he's going to empty out my container. Okay, we got it now, baby. Yep, that's what happens. It goes, the lighter stuff, the smaller stuff that could be compressed somewhat, goes into what is called the hopper of the shear machine, the shearing machine, and the hopper compresses it into a form like a rectangular form somewhat, and the whole pile goes through the hopper on rollers or just giant, or just a big flat, slippery bed inside. And when the rollers roll it through to the end, the shear just comes down and shears it off like this and like that, which is different than Mr. Obama, who goes like this and like that with the Mr. Larry Sinclair. So right now, you do not need to see any more of a Michael Fazio. I'm going to say that when I get this untied, I'm going to finish this video. It'll be like the next part. And this is a Michael Fazio, September 12th, 2013. I want to say thank you to Mark from Miami Iron and Metals for letting me make the video. I want to say thank you for Mr. Obama, because without Mr. Obama, we would not have a loss in my house. And remember, if Mr. Obama had a son, and Mr. Obama's son, and his son was like a TRAYVON Martin,